Welcome back. Today we are going to do a first here at Hercworks. We are going to make a sculpture of a dog out of scrap metal. I've done a couple of these scrap metal sculptures before and they're fun, and I've got a ton of scrap to make it, so that is the plan today. Sculpture I think will be roughly 30 inches tall, and it will be of a lab or golden retriever type dog. So that's the plan. So first thing I am going to do is I am going to build a frame for dog. It'll be easier to attach the scrap metal to that frame rather than just welding it scrap metal by itself. You'll see as we go what that looks like. I have some 1/4 inch round bar, and I'm going to manipulate that and bend that and weld it together to look like a dog, and that'll be the frame, and then we'll weld to it. So let's get that process started, and I'll try to, manipulate that metal to look like a dog, and we'll see how it goes. All right, I think I have the rough outline of the dog done. I don't know if you can see that real well. It's a real rough one. I'm gonna start with the back of the dog. I think that's kind of the biggest portion, and then I'll work from the head down to the front. Get the chest and the bottom of the dog. This dog sculpture will be sitting, and it's gonna be placed on an outside porch of some kind. So let's start with the back, like I said, and we'll go for there. I'm gonna use this 1/4 inch rod. I buy the cold roll because it's a lot easier to bend. So if you do any of this kind of work, I would suggest getting that. So I've just finished the legs. You can see them here. These are the front ones. And these are the hind legs, and those are just the frame. We'll fill all that in with scrap metal when I get to that point. But the next thing I'm going to do is I put a circle here to kind of fill the body out widthwise. I'm going to do one with the head, and I'll probably do another one down here, and I'll probably do one for the snout also. So I'm going to use this same 1/4 inch rod to turn those into a circle, and I welded this onto my workbench to make it a lot easier to bend up the tube or the round bar. First day done on the dog sculpture. I got the head pretty much roughed in, have the body and the hind legs. I think that's it for the most part. I'll probably start building or filling out the front legs here tomorrow. I think it came out fairly good so far. It's a rough shape of what I'm looking at. Tomorrow we will work on adding texture with scrap metal. I'll start with the front legs, and I'll probably start in the bottom and work the way up, and that way I can, if it gets all wonky, if the proportions don't look right, I can finagle the head, because that's really the most important part. All right, we're back. I am gonna start filling in the legs of the dog. I'm gonna do that with a bunch of bolts and wrenches and whatever else I can find. Okay, I think I came up with something neat. I'm not sure. Let me know what you think. There's this hole on the back of this dog, and I was gonna fill it in with bolts. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm gonna make a heart that kind of hangs inside of here, and it'll hang off a chain. I'll use some of these old pipe hangers to shape the heart, and then, like I said, I'll put it inside the body, and I'll either hard mount it or I'll hang it off the chain. What do you think? I think that'd be kind of cool. I was a little worried might be a little weird looking or disturbing, but I think it will come out neat. So I'm gonna shape a heart real quick and put it in there and see what happens. I think it'll be neat. So I'm going to notch off a leg on each one of these, weld it up. Look at that. I think that came out great. Perfect. Weld that sucker up. Alright. Now I need to, that's it welded up, it's just tacked, but it doesn't need to be super strong. Now I'm going to fill this in with hardware of some kind. Ooh. I'll fill it in with this, I got enough junk wrenches. You think I'd have the right size to get this undone. What do you think? I put the old drill bit on here to hang it. I want it to look like it's free floating, so I'm gonna stick it in here somehow and figure out how to tack it in. All right, grab it like that. So it's gonna be like that. I think that is awesome. I'm really happy with how that came out. Very, very neat. What do you think? Yay or nay? I'm pretty happy with it. So, future problem. Well, let's do a little recap here. I've got this dog pretty filled in. I still got to do a lot on the belly here, but the big issue is this head. I'm not really sure how to start the head. I think I'm gonna kind of start right here and just start filling that part in, and maybe the head part too. But yet to be fully decided. Well, before I get to that, I'm gonna do a little bit more filling in of the body. The body takes bigger pieces, so I think that should work. And then there's the cool heart. Other than that, it's going pretty well. Even though I'm not entirely done with the body, I'm much farther along. I'm going to start working on the head. I have a bunch of like loose bolts or nuts and bolts everywhere, and I don't want to use them all up in the body, so I'm going to start filling in the head just by tacking most of the bolts. So I'm going to get that part started right now. Let's see if we can make this look like a doggy. I'll go back and forth between the body and the head. All right, I got the very bottom of the head started. So we are gonna keep going. I'd like to get this side all complete before moving on to the other side of the dog while I'm working on the head, but it's kind of hard to stay in one place. I feel like I'm almost done with this little shoulder area. Really trying to work on the transition. Gotta stay focused on the area I'm working on. I think I'll move on to a different spot since I'm having so much trouble with that area. So I'm still working on the belly of the sculpture, but I'm also working on the head here. Continue to go back and forth on both of them, fill it out. Hopefully I can get pretty far today. I need to finish this thing really by tomorrow. I'm not sure if that will happen, but let's see. All right, I got a ton of just little gaps I got to fill in on this, so I could spend all day working on that. So what I'm going to do is switch over to the legs. I need to add some. You know, depth to the legs. So I'm going to round this piece and bring it over here. This piece of 1/4-inch stick. And then I'll do the same thing I did up here with the legs. I'll just start filling them in. I may add a piece on the back side. And then I'll repeat that for the other side of the dog. I was supposed to be working on the head, but I haven't really moved on to that yet. I'm gonna focus on that once I kind of get the body back where I want it. I think the head will go pretty fast once I get done with the body, so we'll see how that goes. Got a little bit more work to do, but I think it's coming along fairly good. These bigger holes, like finger width holes, I really want to fill those in. I don't like when you can see that much into the body. So all right, well, let's start bending the tube. Now I'm just gonna make a rough bend. You don't really need to get all crazy, I don't think. So I may even be able just to do something like that. Yeah, kind of like that. Maybe just a little more. And I'll do the same thing. I'll just fill it in with material from here to here. Yeah, like that. All right, problem. It's 8 in the morning. I've got to like get this thing freaking done today. I got a ton done yesterday. I built the legs pretty much. I got a little bit more to fill in. I got to fix the toes and fill in a little couple blank spots. But the bigger issue is I'm pretty sure I'm out of gas. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm on E. So I'm going to have to stop, unfortunately, and hit the gas store or the welding supply store and get more of that. But until then, I'm going to weld until I'm absolutely out of gas, and then I'll run to the store and get it. But let's get going. All right, I fixed my welding tank problem. I got a bigger one. That was the old one was like an 80. This is 100, whatever the heck that means. And now I'm going to move on to the head. If I didn't mention it, I've got the legs mostly done. Got the body mostly filled in. There's a couple spots here and there that I will work on, but now we are gonna do the head. Let's see how that goes. I think I want to do it mostly nuts. You can see on the back side here, I've got just nuts in there. And I'm gonna do the whole front, at least the beak, with nuts, and I'll haven't figured out the eye yet, but that's a future problem. So let's start filling that in. We're getting near the end here. This is where I'm at with the head. I'm gonna work on just this whole portion right here, just getting that all filled in with material. I see some empty spots here that I need to work on, and I need to still work on the feet. of the dog. I'm not sure what I'm gonna fill that in with, but I'm running low on material. I need a bunch of littler material, so I'm gonna have to use bigger stuff to fill the back of the head in, because I don't have enough bolts, which I'll probably have to run out to the store to get some more. But right now we are just going to start working on the head. Also, if you've gotten this far, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel tremendously. I would love to be able to grow this thing and do more sculptures, and I can do that with your help. So please give me a like and subscribe if you don't mind. So last night I did a ton of work. I didn't really record a whole bunch of it because I was trying to get a lot of it done. But I ended up doing the ears of the dog, and I think they came out fairly well. I just made them out of 16 gauge sheet metal, and I think that I'm going to fill these eyes in. And I was thinking about it last night. I was like, how am I going to make those look better? So I think I have figured it out. But here is the dog. There's a cool part. I added in here a little heart. All right, so let me show you how I'm going to make the eyes. And I want them to be, you know, a little bit rounded. You know, if I had ball bearings that were roughly that size, I would probably do that. But I don't have any ball bearings that are that big. So I thought of a different way to go about it. So let's figure that out. I gotta head into the house and make that work. Don't mind the mess. What about that? I think I can cut those. Think the wife will mind? Let's see if I can make that work. So I drew a couple circles on these spoons. I'm going to cut them out with the right angle grinder. See if I can make them fit inside this dog head. So I'm trying to place these eyeballs into the back of that eye socket here, and I wasn't sure how to do it, so I came up with this little trick where I put a piece of welding wire, I welded it on there, and I'm gonna stick it in there, and that should hold it just long enough where I can weld that in there. I don't know, I thought it was a pretty cool little trick. If I had to do it over again, I would have welded those from the back. They would have looked way better, but nothing I can do about it now. Lay down. Good boy. I'm going to try to clean up the welds in the eye here. I don't really like how rough it looks. All right. I think I'm done with the head. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I think the ears look awesome. I've done a little bit of cleaning on the sculpture as a whole, but I need to work on a tail. So luckily this sculpture is 30 inches tall. My dog that I have is just a little bit bigger than 30 inches, and its tail measures 14 inches long. So I'm going to do a roughly 14-inch long tail out of some rebar and some other steel rod I have laying around. and I will be wrapping this one up. This one has to go out tomorrow. It's now 11:01, so cutting it really close, but this was a last minute Christmas gift, so we're gonna knock it out. And check out this dang workbench. When you have zero space, hopefully a bigger shop is in the cards someday. All right, I've got my first piece of rebar for the tail. I'm gonna put a little bend in it to make it look like a tail. And then we'll start filling it in. I'm gonna attach it to the back of the dog somehow. I think I'll rotate it that way or that way. I guess it doesn't matter. Yikes. Yikes, I might have to get a breaker bar of some kind. That is the tail finished. All right, here it is. All finished.